And I'm going to start off by saying this. All three of us now get paid to make decisions sound simple because we don't have to make them. And that's our job now as analysts, right? So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to say no. You can't do it for all the reasons JJ laid out and a few more. Here's the first. So what are you paying a guy max money for in this situation? Because of expectations on what playoff success is going to look like. Well, do you realize that Kyrie Irving has played in as many playoff games in the last 5 seasons since he left Cleveland as he did in that one historic playoff run in Cleveland? So the recent history of, number one, being available when you need him most in the postseason or during the regular season to put you in position to have a higher seeding or whatever it may be, that hasn't been there. And then also hasn't been a big enough of a difference maker, despite the talent in that current situation, to get them through multiple rounds of the postseason. However you slice it, he's played 23 playoff games in the last 5 years after playing 22, I think, in one season in that championship run. So that's another reason you've got to look at this hard if you're the Brooklyn Nets. Another thing is this, and JJ, you brought up a lot of great points about his lack of dependability and reliability. There's another caveat to this. Kyrie Irving himself often has said this isn't the most important thing to him. Right? Is that what you want to be thinking about from a front office perspective when you're about ready to lay down max money to a guy with the track record that the three of us have just discussed, when he himself has said, hey, man, I don't lose sleep over this. This isn't the end of the world to me. I got bigger fish to fry than playing basketball. And I'm not saying that's not great, that you have other interests and other things that are passions for you outside of the game. It's not what I'm saying. But I'm talking about when you start laying out that kind of money for expectations to lead us to a championship, that should be a little bit of a concern and factor in. Now, having said all of that, I also know this. It's a lot harder to get that kind of talent in the first place. They've already done that. He is wearing a Brooklyn Nets uniform. And once organizations have guys on that level, you typically tend to give them what you need to in order to keep them. Retaining them is actually easier a lot of times than getting that guy in the first place. And I think that's what Sean Marks is probably wrestling with. But add it all up, and it comes down to this. Is talent alone enough? There are other factors when it comes to Kyrie Irving that make you think hard about this.
Swagoo,
yeah.
the word you used was,
go ahead, JJ.
Swagoo, the word you used was capitulate. I didn't learn that word at Duke. I'm surprised you learned it at LSU. That's a hell of a word right there. That's the word I was looking for. That's the word I was looking. That's
y'all
really.
Go to Duke. Y'all go to Duke to play basketball. Y'all don't go to learn.
That's true.
Stop it.
That's true. But that's really the word I was looking for, because in a way you're 100% correct in that when the Brooklyn Nets were making the decision about whether or not to sign Kyrie Irving in the first place back in the summer of 2019, they knew that it was a package deal. And so they knew that there was going to be potentially some baggage with Kyrie Irving based on mainly what happened that last season in Boston, which we can get into at some point later in the show. But they essentially capitulated at that moment. My point is, I don't know why after the last 3 seasons that you would be willing to double down on that. And if you look at what his numbers are, does he give you any sort of roster flexibility? Let's say he were to opt out. Let's say he were to opt in and then you trade him. That's another option, right? Then all of a sudden you start being able to build a more complete roster if you're the Brooklyn Nets. I'm not arguing with his talent. And to Legs' point, I'm not arguing that he can elevate a team to a championship level at all. I think one of the frustrations that we have as basketball fans is what we saw in 2016 in that finals. Those last 3 games, and of course the game winner in Game 7, we saw how great Kyrie Irving can be in the clutch moments, in the biggest moments in basketball. And so to not have him available at times, that's really where the frustration lies. And Legs, I also agree with you on a point. Like, I've said this and I've been consistent on this. I have no problem. I don't with Kyrie Irving not being as interested in basketball as some other players. And he said it himself. I have no problem with Kyrie Irving being passionate about social justice causes. I have no problem with any of that. That's his choice. That's his journey. I literally applaud all of that. But if you are a franchise who has invested this amount of money already invested your future already in Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, it does not make sense to me to then double down on this knowing what we know.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.